You know what the weird part is? I genuinely thought I was going to become somebody important. Not in a narcissistic way, more in a cinematic delusion with good lighting kind of way. Like deep down, I always assumed there would eventually be a montage. You know? The turning point. The scene where everybody who underestimated me suddenly looks concerned while dramatic music plays in the background. Meanwhile, my actual current storyline is opening the fridge 6 times, hoping a different personality appears. But in my head, oh, I'm unbelievable. In my head, I've already given interviews. I already know how I'd answer questions about success. Honestly, there were moments I wanted to quit. Brother, you haven't started. That's the confusing part. I somehow feel nostalgic for a future that hasn't happened yet. I can literally picture my future apartment better than my real one. The dark wooden desk, the expensive monitor setup, the calm morning routine, the version of me that wakes up at 5 a.m. and drinks black coffee while understanding complex jazz music for absolutely no reason. Current me drinks iced coffee at 2 p.m. and watches productivity videos like a medieval peasant watching the royal family eat grapes. But future me? Different species entirely. Future me has discipline, focus, structure. Future me probably replies to emails immediately. Psychotic behavior, honestly. And every night I tell myself, tomorrow everything changes. Tomorrow I lock in. Tomorrow I become the person I've been aggressively imagining since 2019. Then tomorrow arrives, and suddenly I need a reset day, which is fascinating because I've had roughly 400 reset days this year. At this point, my life is less of a schedule and more of an emotionally supportive loading screen. But the dangerous part is, it feels like I'm moving. That's the scam. Because I think about my future constantly. I research things, plan things, optimize things, rename folders, watch videos called How Successful People Stay Disciplined. Meanwhile, I haven't completed a single meaningful task in 3 business months. But mentally? Oh, I'm exhausted. My brain acts like we survived war, which apparently happens when you spend your entire life simulating effort instead of doing it. There's actual psychology behind this. Your brain partially rewards imagined success, meaning every time I fantasize about changing my life, my nervous system goes, "Excellent work, everybody. Huge progress today." No, I reorganized my Notion page for 4 hours and changed the font twice. That's not productivity. That's interior design for anxiety. And honestly, I think I got addicted to potential. Because potential is beautiful. Potential doesn't have evidence yet. Potential still allows me to believe I might secretly be exceptional. Reality? Reality asks extremely disrespectful questions. Like, okay, but can you actually do the thing? Horrible energy from reality, honestly. Which is why I stay in preparation mode. Preparation is safe. Preparation lets me feel ambitious without risking humiliation. I love preparation. I have prepared for careers I never started, businesses I never launched, habits I never maintained. At one point, I bought a $300 notebook to reinvent my life. The notebook is now spiritually unemployed in a drawer somewhere. But for one beautiful evening, my future felt incredible. That's the thing nobody explains. Dreaming big gives emotional dopamine immediately. Action doesn't. Action feels awful at first. Action feels like confusion and friction and uncertainty. Dreaming feels cinematic. Action feels like trying to assemble IKEA furniture while your self-esteem watches from the corner, shaking its head. And the worst part? People around me think I'm ambitious. That's how sneaky this becomes. Because technically, I am always doing something. Researching, planning, learning, reflecting. I once spent 11 hours researching cameras for a YouTube channel I was too afraid to start. 11 hours. Steven Spielberg himself has shown less commitment to cinema. But actually upload a video? Absolutely not. That would create consequences. See, as long as I never fully try, my fantasy version of myself stays alive. That's the real addiction. Because if I actually start and I suck, now we have information. Now the dream becomes measurable, and suddenly I'm no longer a future successful person. I'm just a guy staring at bad first attempts while eating cereal at midnight, which, psychologically speaking, feels unacceptable, especially because I've already emotionally identified with my future self. I don't want to write a successful film anymore. I already see myself as the person capable of writing one. That's dangerous, because now failure doesn't feel like failure, it feels like identity damage. So instead, I wait. Wait until I feel ready. Wait until I feel confident. Wait until life becomes calmer. Which is funny, because life has literally never once become calmer. Every year, I tell myself, this is just a weird phase. At this point, the weird phase has lasted longer than several historical empires. And social media makes this so much worse, because now I can perform ambition publicly. I can post mysterious Instagram stories, tweet things like, locked in. Locked into what, exactly? Avoidance with cinematic lighting? But people react positively to ambition, even fake ambition, especially fake ambition, honestly. People love future versions of people. So every time somebody says, you're gonna do big things one day, my brain hears like, congratulations, mission accomplished, which explains why I disappear immediately afterward and do absolutely nothing. And the scary part is, I think deep down, I know what I'm doing. I think part of me is protecting the fantasy from reality, because reality has feedback. Reality can reject me. Fantasy never does. Fantasy lets me remain special indefinitely. As long as the project stays unfinished, it could still be brilliant. As long as the business stays unlaunched, it could still succeed. As long as I never fully commit, I never fully lose. Which sounds smart until you realize I'm basically keeping my entire life in emotional museum glass. Nothing touches it. Nothing grows. Nothing changes. And slowly, something even stranger starts happening. The dream becomes less exciting. Not because I stopped caring, because carrying unlived potential for years becomes emotionally heavy. It starts showing up at weird moments, birthdays, late nights, random Tuesday mornings when sunlight suddenly feels psychologically aggressive. You start feeling behind in your own life, like everybody else secretly received instructions for adulthood and you accidentally skipped the tutorial because you were busy imagining your future interview on a podcast. And eventually, people stop asking about your dreams. That part hurts quietly. At first, everyone says, you have so much potential. Then later, they stop bringing it up. Not because they stopped believing in you, because they noticed you never move. And honestly, that realization is disgusting. Not failure in action. Failure at least feels alive. Inaction just feels foggy, like watching your personality slowly buffer forever. And I think that's why I finally started changing small things. Not because I became motivated. Motivation is a scam invented by people selling cold showers. I changed because eventually the pain of imagining a different life became more embarrassing than actually attempting one. So now, I try. Badly, inconsistently, without elegance. Sometimes I still spend 3 hours planning instead of doing. Sometimes I still romanticize my future more than I build it. But at least now, reality touches the dream sometimes, which honestly feels terrifying and weirdly better, because the fantasy version of myself was starting to feel like a ghost. And I got tired of introducing myself as someone I was about to become. At some point, you either touch the dream or spend your entire life orbiting it like an emotionally confused satellite.